Where did the time go? Man, there was a time when my evenings were just consumed, gone. And why? I was working late, uh, dealing with problems. And it felt like, I was getting stuff done. Uh-uh. Um, wasn't happening. Truth is, I wasn't being productive. And worse off, I couldn't turn my mind off. It wouldn't shut down. And I had a buddy, Rusty. He's in the military. And I think I got some of this from him. Now, granted, I grew up with workaholics. I would probably consider a workaholic myself, my dad, my grandpa. But anyway, uh, Rusty said in the military, they'd always say, did you get anything done today? And if you said no, then they said, did you sleep last night? Point being was, if you slept, then you had time to do what needed to be done. Now, that ain't Chris G no more. And well, we're going to talk about that. So today's episode basically about the 5 things I've changed over my life that really helped me get my evenings back. So I started writing those down. And the first thing I did was I stopped making decisions at night. If I had a problem, I didn't do it. And what happened was, Kathy, my wife, I come home and I'd just be in some la la land. Wasn't thinking I was there, yeah, but I wasn't being me. And either she'd ask me and say, you're not here, are you? And when I realized, I was like, no, I'm not. I'm somewhere else. Or sometimes she just realized that Chris isn't here and she didn't even bother to ask. And that's not really fair to her, but that's what was going on. What was I doing? I was thinking about crews sometimes. If I wasn't working physically, I was thinking about crews. I was thinking about quotes. I'm always about sales. I was thinking about materials. Are my crews going to have stuff to do when they get there? And actually the wrong time to be thinking about it is at night, because who the hell are you going to call? Just think about that. Worse off, you guys ever had dreams and you're working in your sleep? Shit, you ain't getting no sleep. You're working. Hell, that's like working 24/7. God damn, I've woke up in the morning thinking, holy shit. And the worst case is you worked in your sleep and then you got to get up and do it again. That sucks. So, what was my solution? Well, I've been told over the years by many coaches and some mentors that I need a journal. And I love that concept, but journaling is not Chris G. I don't like to journal. It's like a diary where you're writing to yourself. Well, hell, I don't need to write to myself. Shit, I talk to myself too much as it is. People think I might be nuts. And hell, I guess sometimes I'm talking on here to myself, and hopefully you all are listening. But what I do is I make a list. That is Chris G's way. Now, Chris G's way ain't the right way. If you like the diary or you like the journal, make it happen. But the main point is that we got to download. We got to write things down. Get it out of your system. By downloading, it allows me to turn my brain off. Sometimes I make such a list that I got to prioritize. So what I try to do when I download is I mark the 3 things I'm going to do tomorrow. Now, if there's a really big long list, I'll even break it down to the day after that, day after that. That way I feel calm about I have a plan and I can say, I'm done. It's all good. Number 2, the real big thing I changed, and I think this is very important. I got this from went to a seminar. I got this idea, and I implemented it. And ideas are important, but if you don't implement them, it don't make a damn bit of good. But I stopped scrolling. Scrolling really stimulates. And that's what Facebook, all these social media things are designed to do, is to get your time. It's addictive, and that's on purpose. Matter of fact, it can be emotional, piss you off sometimes. You see some post, political or not political, your family does something. The ones I've been about before, people say pray for me, but don't tell you why you want me to be prayed for. It's all about prayer. But the fact is that if you really need some prayer, go find somebody to help you out. But don't go to social media. And that damn clickbait. Clickbait's one of the worst. You see this scantily clad lady over here on the side in this nice swimsuit. tell you curiosity doesn't kill the cat. You're gonna click on it. Now you women might not, but you boys know what I'm talking about. You're gonna click on that son of a bitch, and it has nothing to do with a woman in a bikini. Yeah. That's what it's designed to do. Now the point being is, what do I do instead of that? Well, some people say exercise. Does it look like I exercise? Hell no, I don't exercise. I need to exercise. Don't get me wrong. So what I do, I hunt. I go out at night, got coon dogs, or any type of hunting. I love rabbit hunting, but I take my dogs out for a stroll out in the country. We can do that. If you're in the city, take them on a leash, whatever it is, but get some exercise in, activity time, spend time with your family and kids. Last night I was home early. My wife picks up the grandbabies from after school because the kids don't go home. My kids don't get home in time. And they were there. First thing Cohen did, he jumped out, Poppy, Huggy. He came over and gave me a big old hug. I'm telling you what, if that ain't satisfied, I don't know what is. But if I wasn't in my brain and they're focusing on him, that might not mean the same to him. I sat out on the patio. Now, some people like to bird watch. I like to watch bats. If you ever watch the bats, it's pretty damn cool because them stomachs come out and swoop and they go back up, and them stomachs are very versatile compared to a bird, in my opinion. Now, that being said, I also read. Don't read as much as I used to because I love audiobooks, but reading, even if I'm learning something. Now, some people like to read for entertainment. I figure if I'm going to read, I might as well learn something. But the brain kind of goes into a different mode. At least mine does. And it takes that information and processes it, and it wears my brain out a little bit, gives my brain some exercise. And by doing that, by the time it's all said and done, I'm sleepy, time to go to bed. What did I notice about doing all that? It helps make my sleep better. Whether I come home after walking my dogs or hunting my dogs, reading, or even just chilling outside helps it. Today, hell, we're in February now, going into March. In Missouri, you ain't going to sit outside very long, but if you do, that's great. Get some sunlight. I talked about vitamin D before, but that's a whole nother story. What else have I done? Oh, this is a good one. I put some boundaries in place. I don't watch news at night. Not watch it in the morning. But what I've also done is I don't watch the news. I go to the websites, I go to YouTube, and I will channels, and I'll pick the news that's interesting to me. I don't need to hear about some stuff that's negative. Or if I want to be negative, that's fine. But I don't do it definitely at nighttime. It just works you up. If I want to get worked up in the morning, get you passionate about something. If I am working and working late, I don't work past 7, or excuse me, 6. 7's going to come here in a minute. I don't work past 6 because I've learned that if I work past 6, I cannot shut my brain off, and I'll go to bed later than I want to. So I don't do that. I stopped responding to text. Actually, I started doing that after 5. And I sure the hell don't answer that damn phone. It's just not worth it. Unless it's an emergency. And I'm a landlord. Hell, I've had fires. Did you know, if you look this up in Google, frying French fries in the damn skillet is a hell of a fire starter. Who could imagine? And when you're drunk frying fries, shit, you're screwed because your damn apartment catches on fire. Mm-hmm. I've had fires. I've had shootings. Matter of fact, I've told the Mexico Police Department, do not knock down my doors. Please call me. I'll let you in. Because if you've been a landlord or whatever, people bust doors in, and then who has to go fix it? The landlord. Us. That's bullshit. I'm going to tell you that right now. But anyway, I understand they're just doing their job. Let me help you do your job. I'll come over, get out of my bed, I'll come unlock the son of a bitch. And unfortunately, I've had some deaths, whether natural or self-inflicted. I've been doing this for a long time. So those are the other stories. But it happens. Does that mean I don't care? No, I care. But I care about me. I care about my well-being. I care about my family. I care about my assets, and I do care about people. I'm not saying I don't, But sometimes you got to weigh the differences of what's important to you and what's not. And I'm not here to tell you that what it is. That's for you to decide. But at the end of the day, it can all wait. We used to, I used to print magazines and run that magazine company. And we always got to a point where we'd say, it's just a magazine. Now, granted, that magazine's somebody's livelihood. And I'm not downplaying the fact of any business. But at the end of the day, when you scope things, you got to put it in perspective what's important to you, what really matters to you, your family, your God, whatever that is. What else did I do? Well, I've built a little simpler eating evening plans. I don't eat past 7. That's good. I've learned that, the little intermittent fasting, you can Google all that good stuff. Intermittent fasting, don't eat past 7, all that good stuff. Something about your body doesn't know when it's sundown. It's not natural to eat, apparently. Well, it's been very fortunate. I've been losing a few pounds. I don't drink caffeine past 5 because I found out that while I love iced tea, I drink the shit out of iced tea. Kathy gets tired of making it for me. But if I drink it after 5, Grandma used to say, she couldn't drink coffee after noon because it'd keep her up. I see it now. Now, I didn't understand that back when I was in 20s and 30s. I'm 55 right now. I'll tell you what, if I drink caffeine, I'm wired. Don't do that. I mentioned the news thing. Don't watch news at night. Just winds me up. I watch entertainment only, what I consider entertainment, whether it be comedies, action, and don't even watch action sometimes because I know that gets you wound up and I can't go to sleep either because I'm all shoot them up, bang them up. But I watch a lot of comedy because laughter is good for you. That's kind of what I do in the evening. I mentioned hunting. I do a lot of hunting, and part of this is we'll talk about that later. I guess I'm not going to get to that quite yet. But part of it is that I know that I ain't perfect in my ways. And I try to give a little time. I try to give time to Kathy. Like I said, I'm not perfect. But you got to make a point to make it happen. You got to make time for yourself. I mentioned my grandbabies, but I am more open now that when people ask me questions at night, I know it's important to answer those questions, especially about the business. Now, is that considered work? No, but it's also part of that download. Because if your spouse or your children or whoever is conscious enough to ask you about your business, then you want to help them out and be able to sleep at night too. Used to be a long time ago, we had a lot of debt. And I wouldn't even tell Kathy what the debt was. I didn't want her to have to worry about it. Is that good or bad? I don't know. But that's what it was. I didn't talk about it. People say, how'd you sleep at night with all that debt? I'd cry myself to sleep like a baby. Just put my face in the pillow. That's all gone now. So that's all good. But that's the point. Is that, you got to be more open, talk to people. Lastly, as I'm doing these notes for this podcast, I stopped telling myself I was too tired. Now, I know if I go in the house, when I get home from work, and I sit down, I'm more than likely not going to get up. I know, especially on these cold days, I go in the house getting warmed up, and Chris ain't going back outside. When my buddies call me and want me to go hunting with them, I said, well, I'll tell you what, you better get going because if I go in that house, I ain't coming back out. So let's go early so we can get done and get home at a good time. The other thing I've learned, and I went and pulled my book out. I got my book here, old Zig Ziglar. If you know who he was, I had breakfast with him in St. Louis, and I bought his book, Over the Top. It's a great book. But the main thing I took from Zig, and he's very good in sales too, but anyway, the main thing I took from Zig was you got to get going and get that one first step. So, for example, I'm sitting there. I've done this many times. Come home from church on Sunday, and I sit down in the chair, start relaxing. But I know if I sit there too long, I'm going to be watching Netflix, not doing anything productive. And I want to do something fun or want to do something that feels like I'm getting some things done for Chris, And I know if I can just get that first step forward, make the motion, make the effort to get out of that chair, and get started on something, then it becomes easy. My point being is that you guys got to do that too. Stop telling yourself you're tired. Get that first step in, and once you get that emotion, that inertia going, you're going to make it all happen. Also, got to ask yourself, why are you tired? Is it your health? That was my part of my problem. Wasn't sleeping well, my health, Um, the other thing is you're failing to rest your body, not getting the right amount of sleep, not getting the right amount of nutrition. You're not building yourself up. You're basically running yourself down. So identify why you're tired, fix those problems. So as I sum it up and why it matters is that the evening's not really extra hours for work. It's your time. It's your family time. If you want to get more work done, focus on being more efficient during the day. Whether that means the software, whether that means growing your team to help you take some of those more efficiencies, buying some tools, hell, just scheduling your own time to use it more effectively. That way, when the evening does come, that is your time to do as you wish. Because if you don't, you're going to actually slowly eat away at your health. You're going to slowly eat away at your mental health as well. And it's going to be slowly declining. Now, if you don't believe that, you can trust old Chris on this, that's happened to me, and I've got the scar to prove it right down here in the middle of his chest, about 6 to 8 inches. Where the doctor said, I had my heart in your hand. And all that stress over those years I did, shit, that ain't worth it. I'll tell you that right now. So, if that's something you'd like to hear about, it reflects on what you think you could do. Granted, don't always follow Chris. Just take that first step, like Zig said. Make it happen. Please subscribe to the old channel here. Hit that like button and all that good stuff. Notifications. It tells Google and YouTube that Chris is at least worth listening to. Might want to share it with somebody else. Again, this is Chris G, Hard Hat CEO. You God be with you to me again. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.